this is encouraging. This attendance. It shows that we have a resolve. It shows that we are no longer afraid and hiding in the shadows. We are no longer ashamed to call ourselves Democrats. Our numbers at the primaries showed that we are not going to tolerate the bigotry, the racism, the insensitivity, and the absolute madness that is going on in the Republican Party right now. It's very encouraging to see everybody here. Thank you. My name is Charles Ravenscraft. I am running for House District 22. Covers Eastern Cherokee County, 3 districts in Northern Fulton, and 3 districts in Forsyth. My primary was uncontested. It looked good. I'm going to kind of start off by telling you kind of who I am and what I am. But I'm going to start this off by saying what I am not. I am not a panderer. I tell it how it is, and that's what I think is how I say it. I'm not afraid to speak my mind. Speak my mind. I am not a leader. I do not consider what I'm running for to be a leadership position. I'm a union member, and as such, we have positions called stewards. They are representatives of the hall, but they are also the people that watch the men and watch the workers and help make sure they're taken care of. I consider the position I'm running for being a steward to my community. I consider it being the voice for my community. To say that I am a leader would say that I elevate myself above anybody that is in my district, to say that I'm better than anybody in my constituency. I don't think that's the case. I think I'm there to help be a voice and help be a representative to my community. I am not afraid. I'm not afraid to stand up next to my opponent and tell him what I think about it, or to engage him. I've gotten to meet him once so far. It was cordial, and that's about as far as we're going to get with it. It was trying, that's for sure. So what I am first and foremost a union member. I am a member of the IBEW. I am a union electrician in my main capacities, but right now I work as a field organizer. I basically go out and try to help recruit people into the union, help them attain better lives. It's pure and simple what we do. There's nothing more I can say about that. I am compassionate. That is what you need to be in order to do this thing. You need to be able to relate to people's issues, not just be shut off to other, to issues and people's problems. I am open-minded. I don't care if you don't even agree with me, or if I don't agree with you. I will sit and I will listen to what your issue is and try to be as objective about it as possible. And if we walk away still not agreeing with each other, I will at least give you the respect to sit there and listen to what you have to say. Now, things I'm running on. The middle class, the average person, I feel like we have been wholly misrepresented for a long time. I feel like we are just a forgotten group of people that nobody seems to care about. It's only about who gives the most money, who lobbies the best, who can fill the pockets of the representative, of the congressman, who can do it the best, who can do it the most. That is the person that has the ear and has the voice. That is unacceptable. We are a country governed by the people. We are the people. So as such, what I believe in and what I'm trying to accomplish is making sure that we have a voice under that golden dome for all of us. I believe in a minimum wage increase first and foremost, because first of all, minimum wage is a sham. It does not take care of people. And if you run a business to where a person has to work 2 and 3 jobs, still working over 40 plus hours, and they still have to be on government assistance, shame on you. You are a bad person. And you are a horrible business owner. So my first steps on doing that is I would like to see the minimum wage in Georgia to very quickly go to a minimum of $10 an hour. It's at $5.15 right now. Now, we do still follow under most of the federal mandate of 7 1/4, and that is still unacceptable. But if we maybe step it to $10 an hour, and then ultimately we're going to fight for the 15. It is attainable. And it is not ridiculous or outrageous to expect people to demand that their labor be worth it. I believe in Medicaid expansion. There is no good reason why somebody should be afraid of going bankrupt or dying before they can get treated. And I'm going to tell you flat out, I've got insurance, I've got decent insurance, but I have been guilty of that. I have been guilty of going, well, maybe I shouldn't die. It's not bad enough for me to go to the doctor because I can't miss work. That is unacceptable for a society. We should not fear losing everything or dying over an illness. And it is also not right to have hospitals shutting down in rural areas because the people are not insured. I was up at the Kegels event, and there was, I want to say it was Duncan, who was running for lieutenant governor. I believe it was the one that said, well, we shouldn't expand Medicare or Medicaid because they only pay 80% of the bill. So it's not right for it's not good for them to take that 20% loss. And on one of the times I almost got kicked out, I said, well, I'd rather have 80 than nothing.
Yeah.
That is what we go against. That is the mentality of, well, we just shouldn't have to do it. And it's not right. We are feeding money to the federal government anyway for Medicaid, and we were one of the 19 states that told Obama, nah, we don't want your money. And the reasoning for it was for pure bigotry reasons. It was for no other reason than that. I believe in education. I believe that, one, we need to add vocationals back into our school programs as a whole and in the curriculums. We've been sold on this dream for probably 20 years or better, longer than, as long as I was even in school, that everybody's going to go to college. Everybody has to go to college. What has turned into a business for institutions to reap lots of money and take advantage of students through student loans and high tuition costs, and selling them a piece of paper that is really not necessarily worth the ink it's printed on. It's grossly overestimated now at this point, and it's almost discouraging. We do need to give these students an option, give them abilities to learn trades, let them know that, hey, it's not, you don't have to worry about this is not the only way you're going to make it. I was talking with a teacher today, and one of the things that I told him that I want to see changed in Georgia, teachers are not allowed to collectively bargain in the state of Georgia. It is a law. A law for a group of people not to be able to organize. That is ludicrous, insane, and just downright disgraceful. So that causes a condition where now the teachers are basically run through fear and intimidation and have to comply and fall in line and are still not guaranteed to maintain their jobs. What does that do for our children when we're educating them? When a teacher does not know from one day to the next whether or not they're going to have a job come August. It makes for a poor education experience, and it is not right. Those are my main platform values that I have. My other, things are fairly simple. I am a strong supporter of the LGBTQ, did I get them all? Community. I am a strong supporter of it. There is no excuse why they should be treated any differently than us. There is absolutely no difference. A person should never have to worry and have to fight for rights that should be afforded to everybody. There is no difference between a person's race, religion, creed, or preferences. So the fact that in 2018 we're still having to fight these fights is ridiculous. So I stand for that. I'm going to say one thing on abortion. I can't have one. What business do I have to say? There is only one person that my opinion on whether or not an abortion should occur would be my wife, and we can't have kids anymore, so it's a moot point to me. Other than that, it's none of my business. We have, we have so many issues and things that come up, and things that to me it seems that why do we still talk about it at this point in time? Why are we still having to...
How do you feel? I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, why do we still have to be discussing wage gap between a male and a female? That's one of the good things I like about being a union member. It doesn't matter in our local whether you're a man or a woman, you are paid the same as long as you are in the same level. So the fact that this is actually still an issue is absolutely remarkable to me.
How do you feel about gun control and Second Amendment?
Yes, that was going to be my next one. This is one of my big ones of why do we still have to discuss this? Because the answers are there and it's so obvious. I am one of the Moms Demand Action gun sense candidates. I do not go for saying gun control, because that incites a fear in people that I'm going to come and take away your weapons. And that is not what I feel is necessary. That's not right. But what is right is gun ownership responsibility. Yep. The fact that there are 10 people dead in Santa Fe right now because somebody couldn't keep his damn guns locked up is absolutely ridiculous. The fact that there are 4 people dead in Nashville because a person that was deemed mentally incompetent and had his guns taken away were given back to him by his father. His father should be charged right along with him for an accessory. These are the types of things that we decry that this needs to happen, and it shouldn't be a liberal talking point. This is just a basic desire. If a person is deemed to have epilepsy, one of the first things that happens in the state of Georgia, they have their license taken away. Why? They've committed no crime. They've done nothing wrong. Because they are a potential threat to themselves and to the community because of the unknown nature of if they're going to have a seizure while driving. If a person is deemed to be a potential threat to themselves or everybody else due to a mental instability, they should have their weapons taken away until such times they are deemed fit to have their weapons back and they are stabilized. It is not an unreasonable request. It is not infringing on our right. It's a common sense here. I don't understand why it's so hard for people to, on the other side to understand that. So that's where I stand with the Second Amendment. We need common sense gun laws. There is one thing I do want banned. I want bump stocks banned. There is no good, honest reason why somebody needs a bump stock. It makes the weapon inaccurate, first of all, and what you're trying to tell me is, I should have a fully automatic weapon. No. Somebody argues me that point, I'll tell them, look, I want a Nissan Skyline R25 engine. That's banned in the United States, by the way. But why? It's just an engine. Well, because it makes the car extremely fast. So we're not allowed to have it. So I'm not telling you can't have your gun. I'm just telling you can't have something that makes your gun even more dangerous. It is not an unreasonable request. And
why are we still talking about climate change?
Yes, I have a unique perspective on things involving environment, especially when it comes to energy generation. I have worked in almost every facet of power generation there is. I've worked in a coal burner, I've worked in a combined cycle gas, I've worked in nuclear, and I've worked in solar farms. There is no worse means of generating power than coal. It is dirty, it's disgusting, it's archaic, and to tell me that it does not control our weather is an absolute falsehood. I've sat there at Plant Bowen and watched weather and rain coming in over the horizon, and as soon as it gets near our plant, it goes and splits and it goes right back. So to tell me that this does not control our climate and our weather is just an absolute falsehood to me. But the fact that there is more than enough evidence that supports that we are having an effect on our weather, and yet it still falls on deaf ears, is absolutely ridiculous.
Time for one or two more questions.
Okay.
What about Plant Vogel? What would you do related to that?
Okay, this is where I kind of start losing people a little bit. She's asking about Plant Vogel. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to sugarcoat. I'm not going to tell you otherwise. I am not in favor of Vogel shutting down. I do like nuclear generation. It is actually one of the better generations of power. That, and also if we lost Vogel, there would be about 5,000 people put out of work immediately. And that's a hard pill for me to swallow for my guys. Other than that, the business aspect of it, I think, was a sham, and it was true.
All right, but what about the bill payers getting stuck with
that was great. And you know why that happened? Because no matter what happened with the charge, how everything worked out, Southern Company would get $100 million a year for doing this. So they're sitting there going, we don't have to finish it, but we still get $100 million a year, so why are we going to finish it? But I think they're on track to make it where they can't keep sticking us for it. All right, we'll get one more question.
How much does your opponent, how much money do they get from Southern Company or Georgia Power?
From everything I've seen, my opponent really doesn't get much directly from the lobbyists and whatnot. So I don't really think he gets much out of it. He kind of doesn't really get into that issue too much, I don't think. So,
all right.
Thank you
very much, Carl.